We are going to get started here. Welcome to the Thursday testimonial call here with Easy Pay. We do this every single week, and this is hands down my favorite call because it is completely unscripted. We have a guest that's coming on tonight. Tonight we will have a sales partner. We had two that were going to be jumping on. One had something pop up here, but this is my favorite call because it's completely unscripted. We just ask questions and we hear honest answers off the top of people's heads. If you aren't familiar with this call, or if this is your first one, normally we have sales partners that have gotten their first deal. That's typically who we host on the Thursday testimonial call. But we also will have special guests. So like last week, we had an actual Easy Pay merchant get on. I interviewed him. He talked about Look Local First. He talked about the cash discount program, and the program is everything that he was told it was and what he's doing with his savings. And, it's awesome to hear that stuff too. And then like tonight, we've got sales partners, and because people are always jumping on, I talk for the first 5 minutes before I open, but I'm going to go over what I said before, which is one of the most common things that I hear after the Thursday testimonial calls from newer sales partners. And they'll tell me things like, I'm so glad I jumped on that because I felt like I was the only one that was, struggling to get my business off the ground, or I thought I was the only one that was running into this or that. And the truth is, of all the people that are on here, I'm not going to do a roll call on where everybody's at, but we have people from all over the United States on this call, literally from coast to coast. And in the middle, we have people that have been doing this business longer than I have on this call. And we have people that this might be your first day or your first week. And one thing I want to tell you about this industry is we're all dealing with the same stuff. We're all dealing with the same hurdles, the same distrust, the same obstacles, the same rebuttals out there in the field, especially with cash discount, right? What will my customers say? As the big one. So wherever you're at in the United States, you're dealing with the same stuff as everyone else on this call. And it's one of the reasons why I love this, is because you get to hear from other sales partners that are doing the same thing as you. And that's why this is my favorite call. So hopefully you can mark your calendar. Every Thursday we have this. Hopefully you can be on it every single week, because there's always something to learn. Every single caller that I've ever had on here has taught me something. Every single Thursday, I learned something, whether it's a phrase I can use in the field, a mindset trick, a healthy habit, just a perspective. There's always something. So hopefully everybody leaves this call here tonight learning something in general. And I'm going to get started here. I'm going to start with Alessandro. Let me go allow to talk. Let me unmute you. Alessandro, what's going on, buddy? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, Joe.
All right. I knew you could hear me. I just want to make sure that we could hear you, I guess I should say.
Thank you
So,
very much.
yeah, man, glad to have you, man. I know it's in the evening. You've been working all day. I appreciate you taking a couple minutes here to just kind of share your perspective and just kind of share your story, right? That's what tonight's about. It's just sharing your story on what's going on. So, Alessandro, why don't you give us a little backstory? We're not in a rush on this call. The goal isn't to just zip through this. So take your time, man. Tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? What got you into this? Just a little backstory, man. Just set the backstory for us here.
Well, I'm a 28-year-old male from Philadelphia, actually the suburbs of Philadelphia. I live close to Villanova University, the championship Wildcats from a couple years ago in the NCAA tournament, just in case anybody didn't know. So yeah, I've been living here for about 17 years in this town. I moved here from Lancaster County. I lived in Amish country for the first 11 years of my life. I was born in downtown Lancaster, grew up there with my mom, my dad, and my little sister. We lived in an apartment right down on Route 30 there. And I started off at Smoketown Elementary over by a very popular touristic destination in Lancaster County called Bird in Hand. It's a pretty cool spot. But anyway, so grew up in Lancaster County, moved to the suburbs of Philadelphia in 6th grade, graduated from Radnor High School, and I went to college in the city of Philadelphia. Worked in the hospitality and customer service industry for about 12 years, did everything from like serving in restaurants, working in hotels. I did it all. So it's just grown into this next role that I'm in right now, which is with Easy Pay. And I was introduced to this business about 2.5 weeks ago. It's
Awesome.
just been a pleasure plugging in with you guys. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's always fun to have people that are out there putting in the work, and we're going to talk about that. But you said you've been in the hospitality business for like 12 years. You're 28, so you've been working for a minute. You got started early. You're no stranger to hard work. What was your first gig? Not that we're going to get too deep into that, but you've been working 12 years, 28, so you're about 16. What was your first gig? Were you at a hotel or were you like a busboy?
Actually, I did the math incorrectly on that. I started working at 14, so I do apologize. So I started working at 14 years old, and it was actually with my father. My father worked for a Italian specialty foods company, and they specialized in just a lot of you know pastas and desserts and prepared foods. And my father actually made fresh pasta by hand. He was the guy who actually was making thousands and thousands of pounds of pasta. He invented all these different recipes, different types of pastas that they could sell in the store. He just expanded their
And was it was
inventory
it
by
was
100%.
it was it a family business? Was it your dad's business?
It was not my father's business. My father's actually related to the family who owns the business. So
Got it.
the wife who's married to the man who owns the business is my father's cousin.
Got it. Okay. I bring this stuff up because a lot of this revolves around work ethic. Just like myself, I can relate with it. You got started young, and there's a big difference. The people that come into this with that kind of work ethic versus the people that do not. They end up on these calls on Thursday. So that's why I bring that up and kind of that backstory and being in the hospitality business and in any form. You learn how to deal with people, you learn customer service, you learn how to talk to people. And we're going to get into all that. But how did you specifically come into the business here with Easy Pay and payment processing in general? I know that you are related with Danny. For those that don't know, Danny Almeida was our top sales rep for 3 years in a row. Is that how you got in? I'm assuming. I think I know that, but I just want to throw Danny out there. But give us the backstory. What brought you in and where you're going?
Absolutely. I mean, Danny definitely um, mentioned this business to me, and I think that he was definitely the guy who opened up my eyes and said, hey, here's an opportunity for you, you might want to look into it. And I think that that's what is important about this business, is using your eyes and using your ears. So I listened, I used my eyes to guide me on what the product was about, and I used my ears to listen to the people around me guiding me and telling me what I could do to change my life and change the life of others, actually, because that's what this business is about, is you're changing someone's life. So like, not only are you changing yours, but sometimes you're changing someone else's life for the better too. So maybe you can put someone else in front of you first and say, hey, if I change this person's life, mine might change too.
Yeah, and we talk about that a lot. Stop trying to sell and start trying to help people, and that goes, that can go way, way, way broader than that. So when he kind of explained it to you, did you have a job at the time, or you were looking for work? And he's like, "You don't need a job, you need residuals," like something I would say, or how did that all work out to the point where you're like, all right, I'm gonna dive into this. I'm gonna take the plunge. I'm gonna dive in. Was it the residual side of it, or just looking for work, or what made you actually commit?
I mean, to everyone listening, I mean, I just wanted to be free, and I want to be free now because I'm not free yet. All I was doing was sitting at home, collecting unemployment and looking for a career, stressing myself out, 30, 45 minutes filling out an application, trying to make things perfect, trying to stress about when I was going to sit down for the Zoom meeting, what I was going to wear, what was my background going to be, and all this stuff. And I said, man, this is just so much stress because I can't physically go out and like make an impression on people. So it's all about how I present myself. So like, I was really nervous, and I was just like, man, if I could just become free by going out and talking to people, all I have to do is literally wake up and go out my door. Because I remember coming into this business 2.5 weeks ago and hearing this on a call. The hardest thing is to get out the door. And I mean, that's literally the hardest thing, guys. If you get out the door and you talk to people, you can enjoy your community. I mean, you can find things out that you might not have even known. Like, you might turn the corner on your street and you might say, man, I never knew this was here. It's just because you got out the door, you went to go talk to somebody, and potentially on the way to that place, you'll see a business that you could walk into and change. And then you'll end up on a testimonial call, and then you'll film your own testimonial with the person you sold the merchant to, and it's just going to take off from there, guys.
Yep, it starts to snowball. And that's so true, man. Once you get out the door, you just get in the community. When you get in there and you're out there trying to help people literally in your backyard or in the town next door to where you're from or where, however far you're going, it happens. You learn so much. It's amazing how much I could tell so much about even the recovery of this country with what we're going through right now because of the business that I'm in and the things that we see. And same thing in your community. When you get out there, you're going to figure out how you can help people beyond just this, right? You're going to figure out what the community needs, what they're struggling, where they're trying to rebound, and where you can fit into that. And the more of that stuff you do, man, I love your attitude, Alessandro. I love your attitude because it goes beyond just signing a merchant account, right? If you get out there and you haven't said it yet, but what you're kind of talking about is like this look local first, right? Get into your community, see what your community needs locally, and when you get plugged in like that, it's only going to help your business, right? You agree with that?
I completely agree.
Yeah, I love what you're doing. So one thing I love about you, I'll ask the question. I'll give you the kudos later. But when you first got started, did you wait until you knew all the answers, or did you just get the basics and go for it? Or how did you feel when you started, and what action did you take?
I mean, honestly, I didn't want to wait. I just wanted to get out there because I knew that with my background, I could succeed. And even if you don't have a background in this, like overcoming your fears of talking to someone could really come a long way. And there's no reason why we should be like shy or afraid of each other. I mean, we're just human beings. Let's all talk to each other like normal people and like help each other, because like at the end of the day, I mean, like we're providing a great service and everything is catered to you. All you have to do is just literally go out there and present the information to the people and show it to them. Let them use their eyes and ears to like see what you're offering them. Present yourself in a manner that seems helpful, and you'll succeed.
So would you say when you first went out there, you knew what the heck you were doing, or you knew all the answers?
No, absolutely not. That's not how it's going to work. Everyone is going to run into struggles, but we have a good support team. And we also have all of the materials online and in these calls. If we just listen, again, you have to use your eyes and ears to teach yourself. This is a business where if you listen, other people will teach you. And if you use your eyes, you will teach yourself. You have to make it like it's a team effort here. So, like, I mean, I didn't know the answers and I still don't know the answers. But when you go out there and you present the information and you use the people around you that do know the answers, then it's almost impossible to fail.
Yeah, man, you just hit so many nails on the head, and I know you're plugging into I think every morning webinar, and you're hearing us talk about this stuff. And we constantly have new names on every single call, on every single webinar. There's somebody that just came in, like this tonight is somebody's first call. And what Alessandro is saying and what he did. It's one thing I love about you, man, is he didn't come in and say, I'll start next Monday. I need this week. I really need to do my homework. I really need to do all this. I think we got on the call, and obviously, you talk with Danny a little bit here and there, I would assume, but we got on our first call, and it's like, I'm ready to go to work. I'm a little nervous, but I just want to get out there and start talking to people. I think I asked him, like, well, real quick, before you get out there, explain cash discount to me. What does it do? Well, it can get rid of your processing fees. All right, how does it do that? And he explained how it does it to me. I said, all right, perfect. You're ready to get started, right? And that's what it takes to get started. It's far more important to start. And this is, obviously for everyone on here, especially new, if you're thinking you're waiting for something or you're waiting to learn something before you can start. It's the other way around. Alessandro, you're a perfect example of that because you didn't wait till you knew everything. You just learned the basics. What is cash? How does cash discounting help you, and how? And then he went to work. And from there, we hear from him a lot, right? So Alessandro, let's talk about that. You got support. What are you using? Because you said it just a second ago. You still don't know everything, right? I've been doing this 11 years. I still don't know everything. There's something that's always popping up. So how are you getting through the not knowing everything, and how much have you learned in the last 2.5 weeks? Kind of a loaded question, but talk about the support and the process of learning that you're going through here.
Well, the process of learning is it's very interesting because I like to learn. So if you like to learn, I think you'll find it very fun. And the best part about this business is that when you learn, like you'll find out how to change so many things. You're going to change your life. You're going to change your attitude. You're going to change the way you do things. And then you're going to change the way people do things as well in their business, which it does wonders for them. And I think that making a positive influence on your community, only proves to be one more thing that you can add to your resume and your life goals. And yeah.
Yeah, totally, man. So as far as the learning and the education, just talk about what you've been plugging into, how it's been helpful. Have you been using support? Obviously,
Oh yeah,
webinar,
absolutely.
coaching page. Talk about those. Are you utilizing them? When are you utilizing them? How have those impacted your, the learning curve that you're continually going to go through?
Well, the information that is provided to us via EasyPay is something that you have access to on an online portal. And I think that I've done my fair share of research on accessing the proper documents to like have in my like arsenal, I guess you would call it, of just like paperwork, making sure that I have copies of like my flyer, my contract, making sure I have like a nice setup with like a business card, and having just like a pen or a pencil, or maybe like a little appointment book, just to have things prepared. So like in that manner, I think just having your materials prepared so that when you come onto the calls in the morning, you can listen. Again, I'm just going to go back to like using your eyes and your ears, because using your eyes to review all the material that you have in front of you, organizing yourself and making sure that when you go out, everything is organized. You don't have to flip through pages and look all disorganized. Make sure everything is in a binder or in a portfolio or whatever, nice and organized. Get yourself a little appointment book so you can talk to people, write down numbers, names, contacts, keep track of the places that you're visiting. You got to stay organized, and you got to have writing utensils. Just be organized, guys, and have your stuff in order. Come onto this call at 9 o'clock and use your ears and listen to what people are talking about. Nick is an expert with terminals. So like if you're going into someone's store and you don't know what type of terminal you have to offer to the merchant, just call Nick and Nick will tell you. Or call Joe and they will tell you. I mean, we have a plethora of options. So like all you have to do is get into the door and get the customer's interest or the merchant's interest. And then you can use things like testimonial videos. Like I've plugged into this particular webinar many times, like onto the webinar here every day. We have a schedule. You plug in and you listen. I mean, I've learned so many things about like overcoming rebuttals and how to deal with people, and I just gained more confidence. And I think like from the time that I started to the time now, I feel so confident because every rebuttal or every question that I have gets answered through these calls.
Yeah. Man, I love that. That's music to our ears. Support is the biggest thing that we want to separate us from everyone else out there, right? Because just like the merchants have options, sales reps have options too. So what makes us different? The big thing that I focus on is great people like Nick and the whole support team behind Nick as well. I don't know if you've used anyone other than Nick, but the support team is the biggest thing. So that's music to my ears right there. And I hope everyone on here is really taking that in, right? There are certain things that separate the people that succeed in this business and those that don't succeed. And I don't care if it takes you. I've got a guy, Kevin. You can find his testimonial online. Doing really, really, really well now. But it took him 3 months to sign his first deal. And then there's other people that can sign a first deal quick, but they fall off. But one of the things that determines whether someone's going to make it long term or not is, are they plugging in? Are they part of the team? And are they actually applying what they're learning? It doesn't do any good to get on this call and then tomorrow morning not go to work, right? It doesn't do any good to get on the 9 a.m. call and then not go to work. And that's one thing I love about you is you're literally out there in the field using it. And I've seen you progress, or at least I've heard it over phone calls and our one-on-one Zoom calls. And I remember when you first started, there's frustration, right? You went right out in the field. And then the next thing is, man, how come no one will talk to me, man? And we've had this conversation. So now 2.5 weeks later, because of the one-on-ones and the support and the webinars, do you feel like you have a better understanding? We can't change how the merchants react, but now do you have a better understanding, which equips you better to come in prepared? Do you feel like you've got a lot of experience, even though it's been 2.5 weeks? Do you understand what you're running into better now?
110%, because I think I remember calling you after 3 days, and this is what you were referring to with when you were just speaking a moment ago. I think I called you maybe 2 or 3 days after I had began pitching, and I called you very frustrated, and we had that conversation about how I was not able to actually physically talk to people, how people were kind of like shoving me to the side. But I mean, um, I think after learning what I was doing wrong, then I began to see, okay, I can use my confidence and my lingual skills that I already have, which all of us have, because we wouldn't be here if we didn't have some sort of ability of like speaking well with people. So, like, if we're good at doing that, then all you have to do is go out, guys, talk to people in your community. If you find that you're not having success, call someone. They'll tell you, or they'll guide you through what you're doing wrong. And then, boom, you'll go out and try again, and then you'll begin to see that after 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 reps, now you're going to start getting it.
Totally, man. And this is so important for everyone. This is why it is important to start, because even when you know everything, if you can't handle the actual daily routine and how people respond to you, if you don't ever get to the point, if you can't open someone up to tell them the answers, then the answers don't matter. That's why it's far more important to just get going. And obviously, I'm talking to the newer folks. Get started so you know what it's like out there, because knowing the answers doesn't matter if you can't break the ice to begin with. So what Alessandro did and is doing is, when he first started, he got out there, he hit a couple walls, he had some frustration, but he utilized the support that's in place. Right? We are not a counseling service here, but we can let you vent. You can vent to us, get it off your chest, go, eat a quick snack and get back to it. Right? You don't have to be a lone ranger. And that's one thing I love about you, is you have fully utilized all the pieces that we're proud of and that we have in place to separate us from the competition. And everyone needs that, right? Like, to just be out there and be a lone ranger. Can you imagine that first week, all that frustration you had if you didn't have someone to talk to? I mean, what would the odds have been to be successful, right?
Completely. And I think that we all can benefit from each other. So I mean, like, um by coming in here and like utilizing our time to learn, and then, calling each other later after the call and saying, hey, do you remember what Joe was talking about during the call tonight? That was really important. Maybe we should start doing that. And if we all start connecting with each other, however that may be, I don't know who is going to be connecting with who, but if we're somewhat connecting with each other in one some sort of way, and we're all on the same page and going out and being a good rep for easy pay, then that's good, because we're not only representing easy pay, we're representing VisiPay, we're representing our community, and we're representing ourselves. So let's go out there and be professionals and do this thing.
Totally. And that's really what the Monday call. Monday, we really have that open atmosphere where everyone can turn their cameras on. We don't do it every single day because we want it to be a little more structured, and we have specific topics and things that we're going to go over. But that Monday call is what you're talking about, where we can get on, you can turn your camera on, we can talk with each other. Obviously, we got training and lessons and stuff, but that is the best day. That's a really good pointer, actually, to be on that Monday call, see who's around, see who's plugging in, and communicate. Because Monday we unlock the mic, right? So everyone can actually cross communicate. We can all talk with each other. And I know you're always on that, but that's the perfect place for that, man. Good tip. So what's your ultimate goal here? When you came into this, was this a full time? Was your goal to be full time? Like, this is what I'm doing, or was it part time, and has it transitioned into full time? Or what's your big picture here? What are we looking to accomplish over what time frame? What's your goals?
Well, when I was introduced to this business, as I said, I was just unemployed looking for a career. And I mean, I've applied to so many jobs, but for the last 2.5 weeks, I haven't even looked at I haven't even replied to an email basically for any career job, because I've been doing this. And I'd much rather invest my time in trying to change my life and then the life of someone else, and then eventually become free. Because again, that's what we're all looking for. We're all working to become free in some sort of way, whether it's free at 66 when we retire, or whether it's free at 50 when we retire, or whether it's at 75, whatever it may be. Or maybe we'll hit the lottery and we'll retire tomorrow. But whenever you retire, guys, like, I mean, like, we need to enjoy our lives. That's all I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. And you're 28 years old. I was fortunate. I found this business in my 20s. You're finding it in your 20s. I don't know about the word retirement because we're busybodies. We like to stay busy, but to be able to financially not be required to work anymore, you can get that done with your work ethic and the results that you're starting to see. If you keep that going, you keep this work ethic, keep that momentum with the cash discount program. I mean, you're talking a couple of years, and you're not just paying the bills, but your lifestyle can be built. Now, obviously, that's on each one of you as an individual person that's on this call as your own independent business. But I think the direction you're going, man, that can be accomplished at a very, very quick rate, man. So there's so much to go over here. And you were talking about you haven't checked an email. So you're kind of off the market now. You're ready to go. You're committed. It's kind of what that came down to, right?
Basically what I'm trying to say is from now and forward, and I apologize for my improper use of the word retirement earlier, but what I was trying to say is once everyone reaches a point in their life where they're like, all right, I finally think I'm free and I can enjoy my life. That's what I'm trying to say, because I'll never stop hustling. That's never going to stop.
Totally.
But what we were talking about before, what was your question again? I'm sorry.
The question was just about you. I love it, man. You're not even looking at your inbox anymore because you're like, I found it. I found what I need.
Correct. Yes. I mean, as I said, ever since I joined this business, I haven't really paid much attention. I think I've done, and maybe at the beginning of my training, like three days in, I was like going out and talking to doors, and I was still answering emails. I was like, I don't know. I'm not really talking to people. And that's when I called Joe, and I was frustrated, and I was like, man, I don't know if this is for me. And then I went back out there like 2 days later, and I started to go at it and go at it and go at it. And I was like, man, now I'm getting success. Now I'm getting success because like I plugged in, I watched a few videos, I watched some testimonials on YouTube, and I motivated myself. I plugged in and I talked to people, and I started to listen again. And that's what really drove me to, become, motivated to get free. So I want to become free.
And what you just described is something that is for all the, trying to think how to put this, for the people that have made it, like not just the first like 6 months or even 12 months, everyone that I know in this industry that has made it, right? Which basically just count that own your life. Everyone I know that owns their life thanks to this vehicle, I always ask them like, where was that turning point? And it's basically what you just described, and it's called when you commit, right? So there's so many people that have all the skills, just like you did before you committed. There's so many people that have the people skills. There's so many people that do have the work ethic, but they haven't quite realized that what this vehicle can do, and they haven't fully jumped in. They're like, yeah, I'm going to do it, and yeah, I'm going to talk to people. But whenever there's someone who has really made it, and we talk about when was the point that your business took off, it is almost always what you just described, which is I kind of looked around and I realized, why am I spending time over here? And why am I doing this? And why am I hoping for that when I have this? And I just said, screw it. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to at least go all in for 90 days and say that I gave it an honest shot. And once somebody goes 110% in, your odds of success increase dramatically, unmeasurably. Your odds for success increase as soon as you make that commitment. I know you've only been with us 2.5 weeks, but there's a point where you were wondering if you could do it, and you just described the moments where you committed, and here you are, right? So kudos to you for that. And I also, just because I love Danny's my boy. He lives down here in South Florida, top sales rep for 3 years in a row. I remember when I met him. I know it's your call. I don't want to steal your thunder, but he's your cousin, so I want to talk about it because it's kind of what you said. He had a job when I met him. I met him at some convention, and I was trying to get him to come on. I'm like, come on, man, you can change your life. You can help people. You can build residual income. You can be financially free. He's like, I need that salary. I got a job. I'm like, screw your salary, man. You can make that in residual income. Trust me. So one day he calls me. He's like, I left my job, or I got fired, or something like that. And I think he was calling. He's kind of down about it. But instead of him being down, I'm over here clapping. I'm like, bravo, man. Good job. Now you can commit to this business and we can change your life. And as you already know, the rest is history. He's doing great. He's more than financially free, traveling all over. And he changed his life. But the whole reason I even brought that up was going back to that commitment, right? But sometimes that commitment doesn't come consciously, like it did for your cousin. He kind of was put in a position where he still had to make the commitment, but life made it easier for him to do it. And then some people like you just see it right away, and you're like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. So bravo to you for that, man. It's my little two-minute spiel on commitment for everyone that's on this call. And I love, Alessandro, that you realize that early in, and life didn't have to force you into it. You're here by choice, man. Make that commitment 10 times stronger no matter what happens, man. And we will be doing another one of these in 6 to 12 months when you are more than financially free. And we'll go back and we'll reference this call, man. I'm looking forward to that. So one last question. I could go on and on and on, but one last question. I think you shared so much good information here. If you could give advice to anybody, whether they're brand new or whether they've been around, just somebody that's looking to go out there and really get their business off the ground and what it takes to get started, what would your advice be to any new person on this call on getting started and getting this thing off the ground?
I apologize to be vulgar, but listen, guys, or females and males, let's just say everyone, grab your life by the balls and squeeze it and tell him that you're going to do this thing, because honestly, the only person that is stopping you is yourself. And I have issues with self-confidence. I have had it in the past, and to this day, you go out in public and you are providing one of the most genuine and potentially business saving services to come across the market. You got to go out there with some sort of confidence and some sort of presence, and get out the door. Don't stop. You get out the door and don't be nervous. Go into every single business you possibly can that is independently owned. If you need to go on the internet and do research and find where the hell you're going to go, that's fine. But listen, grab the life that you have by the balls and own it, because honestly, like, I'm tired of people bossing me around. I'm tired of people telling me what to do. I'm tired of people telling me when I got to work. I can't take off for Thanksgiving and spend it with my family because I got to work. I'm tired of people telling me that I can't, do certain things when I want to do it. So if you want to go out there and do something, because I'm getting pissed off now, if you want to go out there and do something, do it, because I'm tired of sitting here and not being able to have, the mental sanity of grabbing my life by the balls and saying, listen, I want to go out there and enjoy it before I leave this planet. So if you guys want to enjoy your life and help people and feel good about it, Easy Pay is the place for you. And I'm gonna believe in it, even though I've only got my first deal, and there's going to be many more to come, and I'm going to be coming back here to tell you guys about it. All right.
Bravo, man. That may be the best answer to that question. It's hard to say best, but that's my style right there, man. That was perfect, guys. Grab life by the balls, squeeze them, and say, we're freaking doing this. And that frustration, that's your fuel, Alessandro. You're frustrated. I'm tired of having a boss. I'm tired of not being able to go Thanksgiving with my family. Like, that's ridiculous, right? And when we talk about own your life, that's exactly what we're talking about. And that right there, what I just heard, I know that you have what it takes. That fuel, that is going to be your fuel to make you succeed in this. And I hope that other people on here felt that as well, and that many of you probably feel the same way. And if you haven't yet, make that commitment, because you're hearing from someone who's definitely got his head in the right place, man. That was my favorite answer I think I've ever got to that question. Alessandro, you're the man. I appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to get on here and share your story with others. And I look forward to doing another testimonial down the road once you own your life. And we're going to go back and reference that answer. I promise you, man. Thanks for your time tonight. All right.
I thank you and everyone for hearing me out and letting me freestyle tonight. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. That's what tonight's all about. It's freestyling. This is a unscripted call. It's why it's one of my favorite. It is my favorite because it's unscripted. We just have some questions and the rest just comes out. Grab life by the balls, squeeze them, and say, we're fucking doing this, okay? Best answer I've ever heard. So, folks, that's going to be our Thursday testimonial call here tonight. If you haven't, I hope that you got something there. There's a lot of passion, a lot of great advice, and the fact that he's fully committed at this point, the fact that he did not wait till he knew everything. He just learned the basics on what is cash discount and how to, if a merchant says, well, how can you do that? Those are the two things that he knew how to answer. And then he went out there. Then he realized this is hard. And he didn't give up. He picked up the phone, right? So now at this point, 2.5 weeks in, he's still on every webinar, just about every webinar. He's contacting Nick and me. We're doing one-on-one webinars. So folks, if you're not doing those things now, if you haven't wrote your first deal, and even if you have, even if you wrote 50 deals, if you're not fully utilizing all the vehicle or all the tools that are in place for you, what does that long term actually look like? How many deals does that actually cost you? Or if you end up quitting but you never utilize the tools, it's unfortunate. We see it all the time. Alessandro, I know you're going to be a great success story. Can't wait to meet you down here in South Florida. Folks, have a great night. We'll see you at the top. Thanks for plugging in to the Thursday testimonial call. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend. Bye.